Morning everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So before I kick off today's video, I just wanted to take a quick second to rant, maybe rant, I don't know. I don't usually share my problems with people, but I'm only sharing this because I feel like it's pretty relatable. If you're an Australian license holder of any sort of motor vehicle and you've ever driven on Australian roads, you will know that the most frustrating thing ever in the world is people who sit in the right-hand lane and do below the speed limit. Come on people, like, it's fast lane, slow lane, fast lane, slow lane. You're gonna be in this fast lane, you're gonna go fast. Not to mention the countless signs posted next to the road saying keep left unless overtaking. It's not that hard. Pretty sure, like, doesn't matter what age you are, learners, if it's a learner doing that, parents, you should be teaching them the right thing to do. P-platers, you should already know what you're doing. Old people, you should definitely know what you're doing because you've been driving for that many years, and if you don't, you should get off the roads. Yeah, so to the lady in the Pajero this morning on the highway, love, you're a lemon. Like, do the right thing. It's extremely dangerous, and yeah, sort yourself out. Now that I got that out of the way, I've got my morning coffee, feeling good. I just pulled up at Super Cheap Auto so we can grab a few things because we're going to be going to go work on the Sylvie today. So yeah, I'm going to quickly head inside, grab what I need. So we're here, we've got all the stuff we need to change the turbo. If you guys haven't seen the new turbo yet, this is what it is. It's just a GT 2860 or a 2861, I can never remember. I initially thought, looking at the oil feed, because it's got a bit of a restrictor in there, that it was a ball bearing turbo. Then found out that it's not because of how it spins. For those of you who don't really know how to tell the difference between a journal bearing turbo and a ball bearing turbo, if you see how this spins and then just stops, that's a journal bearing turbo. Steve's actually got a ball bearing turbo sitting on the bench. So you can see how it spins a lot better than the journal bearing turbo. So that's how you know. It's a solid little turbo. I'm pretty keen to get it on. We've got our braided line kit to go with that. So we'll finally be getting rid of the shitty hard lines and stop having issues with them. Still going to be low mount just because I don't want to deal with high mount dump pipes again. We'll be putting this actuator on, just the factory internally gated one. It didn't have the circlip that went on there. So I'll probably just rob it off the old turbo, which doesn't have it either. Nice. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we'll have to find a circlip then. Kind of went into this without much of a plan of attack. As you can see, the turbo bolts are kind of in really shitty spots. So I'm gonna end up pulling the entire manifold off and stuff playing around with this dump pipe right now in the car. We're gonna unbolt the dump pipe from the flange back there and pull the whole lot out. It's just gonna be way easier. If you're doing a turbo swap on your SR20, the biggest challenges you're probably going to run into are dealing with the factory hard lines. There's one here, that is the coolant feed, I believe. The big one down the bottom there is the oil drain. And you've got your oil feed up the top. They're going to be really dicky to play around with. I don't know if you remember from the last drift video, this is that water hose, the cooling hose that we ruptured last time. That runs around the back of the engine. So that'll all be coming off today and getting fixed with proper braided stuff, which is so much easier to deal with. And start ripping it apart. Pretty much got the manifold displaced, dump pipe disconnected, and we're about halfway through pulling all the coolant lines off. definitely the shittiest part of the job. You can see all the coolant draining out down there. I've got one more to do, 2 more to do actually, and then we'll be done, and then the whole manifold and assembly can come off. Got it out.
Look at that.
Yeah, so this is exactly why I went with the choice of pulling the entire manifold off with the turbo, because imagine trying to get to that bolt there while it was on the car. Imagine that this up against the block and then trying to get in there with a spanner was just, yeah, probably doable, but
custom made spanners is what that's about. Custom made.
Once I pull that off, we'll do a side-by-side comparison of the 2 turbos. So this is Josh's Subaru. He's having a link ECU put in and it's getting tuned. So as you can see, pretty much just trying to get it to the point where it can run on Lambda. What else has been done to this car?
Pretty stock, man. Pretty sure it was a GX and then converted to a WRX engine, driveline and brakes and suspension wise. We just put a Link G4X into it. So just done the initial base file in it, got it started. Now we're just trying to get the closed loop fueling down to Lambda. So yeah, keep moving.
Is that all you're doing to the car? Is just ECU and tune?
Yeah, ECU and tune. The bloke who owns this did a fair bit of work to it. Upgraded turbo, I believe. A adjustable fuel pressure reg, bigger injectors. Yeah, so we're only planning on running about 16 pounds through it. Just because the motor's unopened, it's got nearly 180,000 k's on it, as he said. So yeah, just make it safe and have a bit more power, and so you have a bit of fun in it.
Well, better believe it's going to run like a rocket when you're done with it.
Yeah, well, see what we can do.
No, that means, Josh, you've got to have your kart roll race. Want to see this on the track? Better get it down there, mate. So here's a look at the stock T25 turbo. It's a genuine Garrett. Came with the car, and the 2860 that we're putting on. Noticeable physical size and difference between the exhaust housings straight up and the compressor housings as well as the actual compressor wheel. You can see this, the intake on the front of the turbo there is a lot bigger compared to the T25. Difference in size from the exhaust wheels as well. So this one's quite notably bigger. Advantages of running the bigger turbo compared to the smaller one is this one will boost longer and push more boost through the rev ranges, whereas in this one will push boost and then pretty much run out of puff. Pretty solid. It's only air-based turbo, just to show that you don't need to spend bulk money on just a muck around drift car for the starters. I know I've spoken about slowly building mine to like high comp level stuff or any comp level stuff, but to be quite honest, I don't think this motor will cut it for comp level stuff anyway, so don't really see the sense in running a proper big strong turbo to hold heaps of boost or make heaps of boost if we're only going to pull that motor out in the end anyway when I start doing comp stuff. So Steven's still trying to egg me on to buy an LS. Yeah. But we actually saw a cheap JZ the other day, so
yes. Well, considering my plans have changed, I don't need that motor anymore for that, so I reckon JZ is the way to go.
There you go. So we'll see where we go. Yeah, that's a quick run through the 2 differences in the turbo. So we're going to whack the other one on the manifold. Actually, before we do that, we need to set up everything for the braided line. So we'll run through that, and then we can put that on the manifold and we can whack it all back in. Just found that, annoyingly, the oil drain fitting from the stock
turbo doesn't fit onto the new turbo. You can see it lines up with one of the holes there, and then the other one's is a fair whack off. So we will have to sort something else out. That's trash. Steve's just finished doing all the bits and pieces to the GTR. It's going to take it for a quick road test. Nothing too hectic. Going to look after Ben's little baby. Look man, I'm not going to lie, it kind of suits you. Like you see...
I see myself in a 32 GTR.
That's pretty clean.
Yeah. This is Ben's GTR.
Ben's GTR Motec Dash. Tell you what, Cam would appreciate that. I'm not gonna lie, this is my first time in a R32 GTR.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I've been in a 34, Brandon Verdoni's GTR. That's about it. Still half asleep.
Yep. That's only half throttle.
Half throttle, you reckon?
Yeah.
If you're watching this video, Ben, also comment below, tell the people why there's no screamer on it. Like, it sounds awesome, but come on, it needs a screamer. So you can see here, we've got the braided lines laid out here. So these two are going to be, one's going to be coolant feed, one's going to be coolant return. And then obviously the small little boyo is going to be the oil feed, and then these bag of fittings, the AN fittings that'll go into the block and into the turbo. As for the oil drain, Steven's come to the rescue and found a fitting out of his ProFlow box. We got a nice ProFlow fitting to go on there with the -10 braided hose. So we've whipped out that boy and those shitty hose clamps, and we're going braided line for the oil drain as well. Got it all laid out here. The fittings we got were 3 of these, which are exactly the same size for the coolants, the coolant hoses. So you can see there's one in there, one in the bottom, obviously all the same size, and obviously I have not put my copper washers on yet, which you will need. That one will go into the block, and then you'll have this one go, this hose from the block into the coolant feed, and then this one will go onto the turbo, onto one of those AN fittings, and you can see it's got like a little hose clamp on the end of it, and that'll go where, it'll go on the plate in the place of that chewed up one that we split at the track the other day. It'll just go straight on there. And then for oil feed, we got a little banjo bolt fitting, which will go in place on the block where the stock banjo bolt fitting went. And then that goes into the top of the turbo. As you can see, I've already temporarily screwed that little oil feed fitting on there, and that'll just pretty much go on there. And that's your braided line setup. It's pretty simple, just a jigsaw puzzle. I've just dummied up the turbo and the manifold on so we can just get an idea of the alignment of the front and back housings, or the core. As you can see, the coolant line lines up right where one of the wastegate actuator bolts have got to go onto, so that'll sit, that's supposed to sit right there, and then that goes on there. So yeah, we'll have to rotate this entire core like upwards so that we can bring that fitting up about here, and hopefully that'll move that away there. Also, I've just realized we're probably going to have to weld an elbow onto the intake of the turbo, because the stock one had that 90-degree elbow that come out from it, so we can redo the cooler piping, because that's got to go from here to there somehow, and I'm not really a fan of using 690-degree silicon bends. So we're tracking relatively well. As you can see, I've got all of the fittings, the AN fittings on the block for the turbo. One of the coolant ones here, turbo oil feed, and then I've actually done that really shitty fitting that runs right around the back of the motor. You can see it just down there. I've just taken the front housing off the turbo so that Steve can weld a 90-degree elbow on there for us, and then we can put the actuator on. So we've got that 90-degree elbow welded onto the compressor housing of the turbo. That's going to have to sit there overnight because it's a bit hot to put on the actual core at the moment. The only things left to do is pretty much put the compressor housing back on and put the manifold and turbo into the car. I'm going to have to wrap the video up there, unfortunately, guys. I'm not going to have enough things here at the moment to finish the car tonight. I've got to go to the nut and bolt store to get some studs to mount the dump pipe to the new turbo. The other ones were in really shitty condition. This is the only good one I managed to salvage, and that nut's already seized on. So I've decided we may as well go and get some new studs for it. Probably Saturday is when I'm going to get a chance to do it. Also, I wanted to post this video for you guys tonight. I know you guys been waiting for another video this week. I hope what I did cover today actually helped you guys, and you guys managed to learn something. Thanks for watching another video. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. If you have any questions about what's going on here, just leave a comment. I'll answer back as quick as I can. Other than that, spread some love, hit the subscribe button. I'm trying my best to keep the videos coming weekly for you guys, so we'll see you next time.